So in this panel, we would like to again come back on the fact that some treasury management solutions are not sometimes fulfilling all the needs, or the needs could change over time for many reasons. And it's why in this vast constellation of solutions, it's important to find your way. So we will talk about the add-on, what is the best solution, or to complete your suite or your existing solution, to integrate other solutions in your environment. What are the challenges after acquisition, the legacy of the system, etc. So we'd like to discuss that. And for that, we have three corporates from large multinational companies. And maybe, ladies first, we start with you, Krisztina. Could you introduce yourself and the company that is maybe not that well known, but very, very big as a private company, maybe the largest in the world?
Yeah, thank you. So thank you for having me here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it works.
It's good. So thank you for having me here. My name is Krisztina Filo, and I work for Koch Business Solution Europe. And indeed, Koch might not be that well known here, but it's one of the largest privately owned US companies. We have presence in over 70 countries with 120,000 employees and annual revenue over 125 billion. And in terms of my career at Koch, majority of my career I had in Treasury, started in Treasury operations, then moved on to Treasury technology, and very recently I moved to our liquidity team.
So you was at Guardian and now you're at Koch because that's been acquired by...
Yes, exactly. So I work for one of the subs of Koch who has been acquired.
Yeah. And you manage a treasury for EMEA?
So in terms of treasury operation, indeed, I manage the EMEA treasury operations, but in my treasury technology role, it was a global role, implementing connectivity with our banks, SWIFT connectivity, treasury management system. And now the liquidity role is also a global role.
So it's something that we should certainly address, the relationship, and Benjamin will also comment that. So the fact that you have different regions and how you interfere with parent companies, the same for Frederic, I guess, the relationship and how Europe could influence the decision in the US or the other part of the world. So it will be very interesting. Frederic, with you.
Hello, François. So thank you for your invite. So I'm Frederic Capraro. I work as a director in Treasury Department at ATEL Group in Luxembourg since 2015. My role is project manager. So I manage a treasury project over the last years, such as the replacement of the bank communication tool. I work also on the implementation of a bank account management solution, bank fee analysis. Recently, last year, I worked on the replacement of the treasury management system, and now I work as a project owner for the migration to the SAP ERP system. So mainly driven for project and treasury solution and project.
Certainly good information and pieces of information to share with us. Benjamin, with you, talk about Revantage, because the name is not well known, but the company behind is extremely well known.
Exactly. So I'm Benjamin Defays. I've been working in Treasury for about 13 years now. I was working for two major corporates before, implemented 3 treasury management systems, and also including one trade finance system. And today I'm working for Revantage. So Revantage is one of the Blackstone portfolio companies. So we provide corporate services supporting finance, technology, and overall operations to the real estate activities, European real estate activities of Blackstone.
And you're also using a specific tool for real estate companies. If I'm correct, that is also a specificity, because we talk about ERP, but you have also another system.
Yeah, we use a tool not so much for real estate, but a tool that is designed more for, let's say, the fund activities. So more than just the traditional treasury activity that a TMS would be covering.
Okay, and you cover Europe, EMEA, but part of Asia also.
Yeah, so our TMS is the one that we're using. We connect also our Asian activities, or Asian subsidiaries, plus the European region.
It will be interesting later on to have your comment about the fact that Europe could lead a project and maybe influence the choice in the US or be ahead of the headquarters. So let's start with the first question, maybe for you, Frederic. So what we have noticed also today that with a SaaS solution, the solution proposed by the IT vendors are more and more generic, more and more standardized. So you need to adapt to the processes. So how do you feel that could maybe restrain or let's say close some doors about the let's say needs of corporates, explaining why maybe sometimes you need some add-ons and some additional solution to do the job that the TMS is not able to do or not anymore, or maybe on a too standardized way when you have specific needs. Could you comment on that?
So yes, sure. So first, the TMS might be more generic, perhaps less specific, but still the panel of functionalities is increasing. So for this, this is already a first point that the solution that you have is extending. Also, if you use a SaaS solution. Maybe the system offer more possibilities or functionalities by himself. Now there is also a standardization of the basic functionality of the treasury activities, such as for the payment we have the ISO 2022. We have also some basic in treasury, such as the cash management based on the end of day statement, intraday, and also some standardization with the interface with FX platform or money market platform. Now, how to adapt the tool to your needs? If you start your treasury management system from scratch, okay, so you have to identify all your different needs, and you might find a TMS that cover all the different all your different requirements. Okay, and now for your add-on, where you would need it is in the scenario where you have already a TMS in place, but your scope has changed or your need has changed, or maybe you start doing FX, you start to do hedge accounting, and in this case, if your TMS is not able to offer you this functionality, in this case, you would need to go for an add-on or an additional solution.
But do you feel a pressure from IT to reduce the number of solutions? Because we know that, and we talk in the first panel about that, the fact that the CIO tried to limit the number of solutions because it's always additional solution to maintain.
Yes, this is clear. Okay, that the day you look for a solution, it depends if the need is new. Now, if you look for a long-term solution, in that case, you have to consider indeed what is your IT policy. Is your IT policy maybe in favor of the full SaaS, or it is to keep all the data on premise, as Jean-Philippe mentioned before. So in that case, yes, IT has a key role to play, because they have some policies, but also they will support you. In that case, you need to contact them to know is the tool or solution that you are looking for compatible with your IT architecture? Can this solution can be integrated within with your other system? Is there any interoperability between your different systems, knowing that some systems cannot work together? So yes, all this I think must be challenging.
And Krisztina, what are the missing pieces you have noticed at Koch or in general among members?
Yeah, I would connect back to Frederic that it depends on your needs, first of all. But indeed, what is extremely important, I think, for a TMS to be able to connect with your banks. And this connection should be, again, flexible enough and follow the developments on the market to be able to adapt to the needs. Then on the other side, definitely there is a need to connect with the ERPs. And for us, it's multiple ERPs. So that connectivity not only the existence of the connectivity is important, but the flexibility also, that it really allows all these different versions of ERPs really efficiently connect with you to send payments, for example, but also to receive bank statements on the other side or GL entries. And in addition to that, what we found that was definitely missing on our side is a robust reporting system, because in your treasury management system, you have bank statements, cash movements, payments, FX trades, financial transactions. So it's really important that you can have an overall enterprise-wide liquidity report, cash management report. So that one is an element which actually, when we selected our ERP, our treasury management system, it was really critical for us who is the most advanced on reporting.
Okay. Any specific need? Do you have commodities or this kind of thing that would be okay? Because in some cases it could be any bank guarantees, because Mario was there before, and Mario typically it's the number of bank guarantees to manage is completely crazy. So at the moment in time, Excel is not sufficient, so you need a dedicated solution. We also mentioned with Frederic the bank fees. So bank fees, if you want to control your bank fees, so this kind of solution. Okay. Benjamin, any comment on that? So what are your views?
So first on the add-on and satellite solutions themselves, in my view, they are more a necessity than a mean on its own. And they're a necessity because of the specialized nature of our work in Treasury. Specialized because we have an environment that is changing all the time. And also the business internally is changing, the requirements are changing, the business is growing. So I join Frederic, what he said as well is business growth, so you need change, and then your TMS starts not to meet with those needs anymore. So for me, it's really a necessity. No one in this room that is a treasurer wants to have multiple add-ons and satellite solutions to maintain, because it's a risk at the end of the day to have all those add-ons, all those satellite solutions. That's not a mean, right? Because you will have a risk in maintaining them, the connectivity. You also need to have people that have the knowledge, that are experts in those systems, and you bring some dependency again on more people to handle all of this architecture, which by the way is getting heavier and heavier and heavier. So what I want to say here is, before getting and jumping into satellite solutions, it's quite good to look at what you already have. When we speak with the members, we sometimes hear that they want to do this with their TMS, but they think that an add-on solution will do it better. Well, actually, their TMS can do it. It's more like asking your vendor if your TMS is already able to do it. And also, before asking your vendor is, do we really need this? Like, have you questioned internally the requirements? Because it's nice to have TMS that can be customizable, but sometimes it's not. Too much customization can also be it's a missed opportunity to challenge internal practices. And sometimes we see this, like we have internal requirement and we just reflect it on the system, versus adapting a little bit internal practices as well. So looking at what you have already, challenging it a little bit, asking the vendor if they can, and then eventually going with satellite solutions. And you were talking about trade finance. So remember with Koch, we did implement this trade finance solution, and it was the system itself was great, but then the interoperability between this system, the TMS, because you can also have this interface with the TMS and the ERP. We talk a lot about APIs that can help connect those systems, but I've not seen APIs being mature enough yet to help us doing this activity. So it's, in my view, it's really a challenge. Each time you add on something more, you just add more complexity in your treasury landscape and treasury architecture.
Yeah, and maybe for you comment, so just to say that I have the impression that for a lot of corporate treasury or CFO, it's difficult to hear that you have a TMS supposed to do everything and that is not able to do everything as he initially thought. and to come with additional requirements. So if it's not known at inception, that could be an issue to sell the project or to pay for this satellite more than you pay like for a car. So if you have a car, you can have some options, but it's not necessarily good to have more options than the value of the car.
If I can add to this, it's it's very true, because if you have to add satellite solutions, maybe the assessment was not properly made up front, or you never know how it's going to look like in 5 years. But when you select a TMS, we might already only look at short-term requirements versus like, okay, is my TMS scalable enough to meet growth, to meet what is the strategy of Treasury? Do we want to do cash management and FX, or do we want to be a bit more strategic and automate activities like accounting? Or is that strategy already known in advance? And if so, then the TMS will be different, because each TMS has its own weaknesses and strengths. So knowing this, having this long-term view when you select the TMS can help avoid having add-on solutions later on.
We come to the question of Cyril, what know your needs before jumping.
Yeah.
Any comment, Krisztina?
I just would like to add to it that what is also important, that your satellite solution is addressing a need and not fixing, for example, data inefficiency.
Yeah.
So first, definitely you should see what you have, how you can improve that, and optimize, and then consider what you don't have. And it's really important that still your TMS is the kind of single source of truth. So, if you add on something just to fix the data, then you have already two sources of truth. So it's really need to be thought through when and how we add on satellite systems.
And for any of you, so when you have this kind of changes, are you considering a holistic approach? So what will be my architecture, my process, my roadmap? Because we know that you cannot change the Treasury IT world in a day because of lack of budget, resources, time, etc. So how do you consider? Are you considering the future, or you are just replacing bricks by bricks, piece by piece? So what is your approach? I know what you did. It was
it's more long-term approach. Like we really wanted to have a tool, like invest in a tool for long-term, and what would the Treasury bring to the company. And then it's also about having, like if you work with SaaS solutions, then you need to have a vendor that is able to do those updates that you want, those releases that you want, and you have this dependency. So having a TMS that might not address all the needs, but at least that is with a vendor that will support you for those maintenance and those upgrades, those new releases, so that you can keep up to date with the new trends and what is going on the market. But it was actually a long-term view up front with different phases, but maybe the core functionalities, but looking at...
Could you comment, even if you came after the launching of the project, but what was the relationship between the US and Asia? Because I know that you were really leading, being clearly ahead of US. Or was the weight, and was it important to get it fixed properly to make sure that the system will be adopted by the rest of the world? Or
yeah. So what we have, so let's say the core functionalities were, when I say turnkey, obviously it takes a lot of time to integrate and stabilize processes, but it's more. So then you have other regions that can start to plug in when you have stabilized, but you have this weight from other regions where, okay, you're changing a little bit the way that things are done, and they want to see that it is stable before they on board. But they are partner, and they will wait maybe a year or two, and they will also push the vendor because they know also that like the vendor knows that others are coming up next. So it's also a good leverage for the implementation that you're doing, well, to accelerate things, to have this long-term view as well. So we were, really the catalyst of that change, and then others have plugged in when it was more stabilized. Yes.
A question for you, Frederic. So you were a bit forced to reconsider the TMS system also because of the fact that you were on premise and you were forced to move on SaaS, and maybe you took the opportunity, I guess, to say, okay, if I need to move on SaaS with my current solution, maybe I should reconsider. So what is a good timing for you, and maybe for the three of you? When do we need to reconsider or to revisit the existing system? Is it 5 years, 10 years? Because we saw a lot of our members having the same solution for 15 or even 20 years, with upgrades, of course, but still the same solution. So what is your recommendation? What is the ideal let's say, scenario for revisiting solutions?
So there are two different approach, or you realize that your tool is obsolete, okay, and it does not match anymore with your need and with the last solution that is in the market. In that case, you know that you have to change it. And as you mentioned, in case your IT policy is changing and the need is changing also internally, so you have to also redo the exercise to revisit all your IT solution. In our case, when we changed it, we had a treasury management system. We had also kind of add-on to generate some reports because the former treasury management system was not able to do it. And when we selected the new solution, we wanted to have one unique solution who was able to to do the TMS plus all the reports related to your TMS. So to have a look to a long-term
use
solution.
A number of external solutions.
Now, I think some technologies get matured after a certain time. So ideally, I think you can do the challenge every 10 years, but each time you select a new treasury solution within that you want to implement in your environment, you need to reconsider everything. Also, because might have your need change, you might want to improve things that is online with the treasury roadmap. Okay, for example, we changed the bank communication tool. At that time, when we changed it, we did not look only for the replacement of the bank connectivity part, but we looked for a solution integrating the payment, the bank account management, fraud screening. So, voilà. So I think there is no predefined period, but still, each time you change or you want to add a solution, you go in the market. It's important that you challenge your IT infrastructure.
Maybe just to conclude, a final comment or takeaway for the delegates. So, any piece of advice you would give?
So I would just connect back to Frederic again, that I think it's really worth to look at or revisit every 5 to 10 years what we have, what we would like to have, what are our needs, and is our current solution meeting it? Still meeting it or not? And then think still the cost behind what it would take to change, and then having this exercise regularly to make sure that we really follow the market and we have the kind of the value for the price what we pay for the solution.
With you, Benjamin, because I know that your scope is also evolving quite fast. You buy and sell a lot of assets. So
yeah, well, I picture it a little bit like buying a house, and Jean-Philippe mentioned about the house as well concept. So for me, it's if you're single and you buy a castle, or maybe not be the right choice. But maybe if you want to have a huge family and you start now buying this big house and you think about having family, it's a good choice. But if you want to be single all your life, then you don't need this. So for me, choosing a TMS with all those, like changing TMS later on is maybe also good to have the right choice of the house up front. And another thing I want to really mention, and Krisztina mentioned about the data, because yeah, cash is king, but data is queen, and definitely for those type of projects and even overall, we always put this annoying task aside, like the static data management, and it is really important for integration and satellite solutions, because you can have great interface, but it's going to be as good as you have as your data is.
Frederic, with you, the last comment.
I would like to complete what Benjamin says. During also your analysis, to know exactly what is your need, you need to involve the different stakeholders, not only treasury people, but also maybe your accounting team, your IT team, the business as well, because they might have some requirements that are not known, because today they have a system that exists. they maybe want to do something, but they can't because the system cannot offer you the possibility to do it. So it's important to make also the analysis together with them, because they might come with some requirement, and the day you have the solution, the new solution implemented, it's too late. So it's important to onboard them the earliest as possible, because then you have a more complete need, and it also eases the change management within your company.
Thanks a lot for this comment. So, and again, our panelists will stay with us for the rest of the day. So if you have any question, you want to share some ideas with them, or get some pieces of advice, feel free. Thanks a lot.